when you're going on the path of the magician, when you're really diving into magic and what kind of route you want to go on to into magic, you need to look at what magic really is. Now, it's not something that's very common within a modern day society, but magic is essentially natural law utilized. It's essentially learning how your thoughts, your emotions, your actions can influence the external world and influence yourself, and also how to utilize yourself as a tool for spiritual ascension. And typically that's the goal of the magician, is to gain more spiritual power, more knowledge and wisdom of the universe at large, and to be able to control and use these laws, these universal laws, to understand and to gain the power of God. Now, the ways you do this can be a little bit different, but essentially the ways that you can do this is by understanding the connection between your mind and reality, and understanding what reality truly is from a spiritual perspective, and also figuring out the things that you can do to get into these places where you can have an effect on things. I would say that pretty generally, throughout all of these spiritual systems and magical systems that I've looked through, that our consciousness is not limited to our body. That's a pretty universal rule, and it hasn't been broken by any of these systems so far. We have our own body, our physical body, and we have a spiritual body. We have an astral body. We have a mental body. We have all these different types of energy to different degrees, that have different degrees of freedom as well. And this goes to that idea that we are both as above and below. We are gods and we are demons. We are angels. We are darkness, We are all things, all combined within this consciousness. Now, our bodies are merely a vessel, and they have their limitations, obvious limitations. But our spirits, our astral bodies, they have much less limits. They have some, but much less. And to bring yourself to a point of spiritual enlightenment where you have no limits on a certain level, that would be also considered a goal of magic, is to align yourself completely with the highest of the high, the highest consciousness that is, and through aligning yourself with that, you become it. So, what I will be teaching you in this course is some ways to align yourself with that, some ways to really dive into what you want from this path, and some of the different ways that you can go about it. And typically, this path is one for people who want to see things more in depth, want to see things more clearly, want to know the gears in the watch, so to say, the functionality of things, and the functionality of themselves and the inner workings of things. And there is a bit of danger involved inherently within magic, because you're expanding your consciousness and your power in a way that if you don't deal with the lower aspects, the more shadowy aspects of yourself, then you're going to end up in trouble. Because you'll have the power to receive these things, there'll be spirits and entities that will want you to achieve these things, but they won't necessarily be in your highest good or in the highest good of humanity. They might just send you into a road of destruction of yourself. And when you're dealing with an art and a science and a practice that literally takes on so many different shapes and forms of good and evil, you could surely get lost in that in a lot of ways. So I'm going to help you go through this in a way that you can really dive into it in a way that is going to be beneficial towards you. And you're not going to deal with as many of those dangers because you'll have done the work to eliminate those dangers throughout this course. So rest assured that you'll have some protection. But nobody is completely protected as well. So yeah, I hope this clears up a little bit. And I'll see you in the next lesson.